Hey you. Yeah, you watching this video. How you doing? Before we continue through this video, if you like the content that I share, please help me grow my channel by liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing with those you know could benefit from this message. I don't like talking about my business. And if I do talk about my business, like my personal life, it's very few people that I talk to. It's very uncommon for one person to know everything going on about me because I'm just a complex person. I noticed that I've been pushed into the spotlight. Like everybody's like, oh, like Ashley, and I'm like, nah, like I prefer to hide, like I'd rather be the brains behind an operation than the face of the operation. But I've noticed in life, like, Spirit is like, no, like, I understand how you feel, but there's certain people only you can reach. There's certain things only you can do. Only you have that certain je ne sais quoi to make it happen. It can be pretty frustrating at times, especially when I just want to be to myself, when I would rather hide away from the world. Spirit is saying, no ma'am, put your ass out there. This is what I want you to do. This is what you need to do. And that is what's happening right now in this very moment. Like, you cannot see it, but I am literally, it's like an internal war going on, if you will. I want to add on to the last video. The last video, not the reading, I talked about surrendering. 5 reasons why it's important to surrender. We can surrender all we want, but are we trusting in the team that we're surrendering to? Are we trusting in the deity, this energy, the spirit that we're surrendering to? When I think about it, it is so easy to say, I surrender, And when you think of a war, people can say, I surrender, right? And then they do what they got to do, and then they can easily just, they could have been deceiving the whole time, right? They could have just said what they needed to say at that moment to feel better, to be relieved of any troubles that they would have faced if they chose to continue to fight. So in our personal lives, when we're saying, I surrender, right? Some of us are just saying it to feel better at the moment. But then when you start feeling better, right, the same thing that you surrendered, you never truly surrendered, and you just latch onto it and you try to figure it out. How can you surrender and expect a change if you release it but you take it back, right? It's like, I know for Christmas people talk about Santa Claus bringing gifts to children and blah 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 blah. Okay, imagine if Santa Claus, this deity, right, came and gave these children gifts, right? And the kids, they are excited for these gifts, and they start, they think about how they're gonna play with them, right? And then they see, when they're ready to play with them, Santa Claus just snatch it all back. Like, what type of BS is that? And that's what we're doing in life. Some of us, majority of us, and it's not all the time, sometimes it is all the time, take it as it applies, we are saying, it's above me now, right? It's above me now. This is no longer my concern. I've surrendered this, so I'm not worried about it. You say that, but then you go take it back. How can you expect whoever you believe in to have your back if you take it back, right? Remember, I was saying we are humans with limited experiences in this lifetime. There's answers that we are not going to have, and that's okay. That's why we are not here alone. We were not put here to have all the answers by itself. You have family members, you have ancestors, you have spirit, you have God, you have Jesus, you have Buddha, you have whatever you choose to believe in. These energies that have your back, that are protecting you, that are guiding you. And yet when you tell them, I surrender, you take it right back. So how are you truly trusting them? How are you truly allowing them to make the change that you are seeking? If I look at my life this year, September 2021 versus September 2020, I'm living in the same place, but me as a person, I've changed drastically. Even from yesterday till today, I have changed a lot. I've healed from a lot, whether I know it or not. And the same applies to you. Right now, these changes that I've experienced, and I'm pretty sure these changes that you have experienced, you weren't expecting that. You did not know what was going to happen. We could not have said a year ago today, oh, this is where I'm going to be a year from now. I'm going to be recording this YouTube video, or I'm going to be living my best life, or I'm going to be doing this. We say that, we can only hope that, right? I can look out to 2022, September 2022, and be like, okay, September 2022, this is what I want to be doing at this exact minute. First of all, who thinks like that? But okay. This is where I plan on being this time next year. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, but it's not when the time actually comes. Let's say you are where you say you want to be. That moment is not even gonna it's not gonna be verbatim to what you spoke into existence, right? Like the very second, that might not be happening. Like, and I'm just using like these minor details. Now let's look at the big picture. 5 years ago, did you see yourself having the career that you have? Did you see yourself doing the things that you're doing, the hobbies that you have, the people that you know? Did you see yourself there? No? Okay. Yes? Okay. The fact of the matter is, when we surrender, when we choose to lay it all out, that is because we have a level of trust in our belief system. Now, once you release that trust, you have to let them do what they're going to do. All right? You got to let them do what they're going to do. And that also requires trust. That requires you, just like the Fool card in the tarot deck, it requires you to just be ready to jump off this cliff and not know what's going to happen. If you jump off this cliff and you touch the ground, or you jump off this cliff and your parachute opens, or you jump off this cliff and your face falls flat on the ground, you're laying prostrate, like you don't know. We don't know. But when you choose to surrender sincerely, you're saying to Spirit or God or Buddha, listen, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's going to happen. But I trust you enough that you're going to have my back either way. Whether things go good, whether they go bad, you're going to have my back, and I know I'm going to make it through this. And I know that this is for my highest good, and things are going to turn out way better than I could have ever imagined. Do you hear me? Things are going to turn out better than I could have ever imagined. So right now, let's do an exercise. Imagine the best thing that could have ever Imagine the best thing that could have ever happened to you in your mind. Can you imagine a way to get there? Okay. Now imagine you surrendering that to Spirit. Now, spirit, your divine team, your ancestors, this consists of energies, loved ones that have passed on, that have experienced things in a way that you may have never experienced it. You got to remember, prior to this generation and the last one, a lot of our, okay, a lot of our people, and I'll say black people, I'm not too sure about other races. I'm not too sure. Yeah, no. This is general. This is in general. In general, a lot of people were just trying to survive, right? They were just trying to get through the next day. They were just trying to make sure they have food in their belly. They were just trying to make sure that they lived. They were just trying to make sure that they were able to provide for their family. Now, the generations that are here now, they're more focused on enjoying life, finding an easier way to live without working as hard. Okay, so you trying to tell me all the generations before us, they did all the hard work to get by. Do you really, really think that they're going to like they've gained all this work, they've gained all this knowledge, let's say they have all the notches in their belt, they've gained all the work notches in their belt. Do you really think that all this hard work they did, the back-breaking pain they went through, the suffering, the enduring, depending on your family story, you really think that all this, and I'm getting chills, ooh, shit. You really think all this hard work that they went through in the past, they want you to go through that? Honestly, do you really think the spirit, whatever your belief system is, after all the BS that has happened in the world that we know of up until now, even the stuff that we don't know of, that they know, do you really think they're going to let you sit here and go through the same thing or something similar? Do you not think they're like, okay, this is the fruit of my loins, or this is my bloodline. I've done enough suffering. I don't want them to suffer. I don't want them to suffer like I suffered. Like, if you have kids, is that how you're thinking about your kids? Or their kids? Or their future kids? Is that how you're thinking about generations that are coming after you? The way you struggled, you want them to struggle. If you look at your parents, depending on the type of parents you had, or their parents, anybody that's loving in your family, do you think that that's how they look at you? Like, I want you to go through the same struggles I went through. They made me a strong mofo, so I want you to go through that. When I see celebrities, they always talk, especially celebrities that came up from the hood and stuff like that, I always hear them talk about how they don't want their kids struggling like they did. They don't want their kids to live a impoverished life like they did. They do what they can do. They hustle to make things happen so their kids don't have to live like they live. And right off the top of my head, I'm thinking about Cardi B and her kid culture, right? So with this in mind, like if you think you want them to suffer how you did and all that, I'm gonna pray for you. Just close this video right now. But if you feel as if you would want generations after you to have a better life than what you had, please keep listening. Because if you have that mentality for your future, the generations that come after you, think about the generations that came before you. Okay, think about all the people that lived here before you. Think about this spiritual deity, spirit, ancestors, angels. Think about all the shit they have seen since they have been on this earth, since they have roamed this earth. Do you really think that they are like, okay, I've seen all these wars, I've seen all this BS, I've seen all these people get slaughtered, I've seen all this shit go haywire, and I want you to live that way? No. If they have my back, if they love me like they say they love me, I can only imagine, I can only believe that they want me to live a better life from what they've seen. So when I choose to surrender, I'm like, okay, for me, these are the challenges that I'm facing, right? And I know you've seen worse than this. But I know that you can also get me through this. So in this moment, I'm going to surrender everything that I'm going through, the pains that I'm experiencing, the wars that are going in my mind. And I'm going to trust with everything that you've seen, with everything that you've experienced, and with all the love that you have for me and the generations after me, that you're going to handle this. So in the long run, when we're surrendering, this is what we're doing. This is what we're saying. We're saying, I can't handle this like you can handle this. After all the BS that you've seen, after all that you've handled, you're still here. You're here for me. You have my back. You love me. And I want you to live vicariously through me. I need you to guide me. I need you to show me a route that I may have never seen before. So with that being said, I got to thank my ancestors. I got to thank my guides. I got to thank the messages. I got to thank spirit. I really got to shout out the spiritual teams that we have, regardless of what you believe in. These ascended masters, they've seen a lot. Before our generation, in our generation, there's a lot of smack that has happened in this world. But here they are, loving us, supporting us, guiding us, and they are leading us every step of the way. Whether we want to be guided or not, they are guiding us. So, back to surrendering. We are limited human beings. We are human beings having a limited experience. We are connected to a spiritual realm that is so much greater than ourselves, where we can tap into energies and knowledge and wisdom that we do not have collectively as individuals. So when you surrender, you're trusting in this infinite knowledge, in this infinite source, in this infinite wisdom. And when you continue to trust that they have your back, that is when this energy gains more momentum to help you reach the life that you want in this lifetime. And then when you move on, everything that you've gained, everything you've learned, you're able to apply it to those future generations. So keep trusting, y'all.